Hello and welcome to the regular Friday edition of Spurs Diehards TTID. Well, it seems like the mood in the Spurs camp, including the fan bases, has been restored a bit after a win. And we actually get to talk about a win tonight, as well as the transfer window, rumours about a new impending signing, and a prediction for Burnley as well, and a lineup for that as well. So without further ado, introduce my regular guest and friend of the show, Steve from Stateside Footy. How are you, Steve?
I'm well, man. I'm well, and yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, it's a different feeling coming after a win, and even if it was only for 45 minutes, that feeling. But that being said, what I will say is that I like the news coming out today again with Andy Robertson potentially coming on board, because Lord knows we can use a lot more winners on this squad. But outside of that, man, I guess I'm doing well, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I was pleased to host a win show on Wednesday, but obviously we have a different audience on a Friday. We try to get, the Americans and Canadians involved as well. We don't know if actually we get many of them, but we just keep doing Fridays for that particular reason, because our Tuesday and Sunday shows are mainly at UK-based times that suit people in the UK,
Sure.
And those that may be an hour in front in Europe, So yeah, so yeah, all good. So this is Steve's link to his YouTube channel. So those of you watching now or watching us on playback, please get over there and give him a subscribe. He's always on. He's always doing content. He's virtually on 24/7. Okay.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
Well, so get out of there. He's ubiquitous, right? When he's not doing his own shows, he's on somewhere else's, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So let's go back to the banner. Spurs 2, Dortmund 2. I was actually at the game. I assume you watched from home, Steve, or work or whatever. What was your take on the game?
I thought, okay, so I think I might be in the minority here. I actually left quite frustrated. Now, I know it seems kind of harsh coming from a win, considering we don't necessarily get a lot of them. But that being said, I still thought it was a tale of two different halves. Now, a lot of people, and I don't know how you feel, but in the YouTube space, a lot of people seem to make excuses because the squad is threadbare, and we lost Lucas Bergvall. That Thomas Frank may have been right to take his foot off the gas at halftime to protect a 2-0 lead. The game had been won. They were down to 10 men. But that being said, this is also the same squad that allowed Sunderland to get back into it, allowed West Ham to beat them at home as well too. And so from that standpoint, in my estimation, no lead was safe. Even at 2 goals, no lead was safe, and them down by a man. And so from that standpoint, I would have liked them at least for 15, possibly 20 more minutes, take the game to them, potentially get that third, if not the fourth goal before bringing the kids on and then taking their foot off the gas. I would have loved to seen a complete game where we actually took Dortmund to the sword and actually punished them for being a man down. And I really felt like, we did ourselves an injustice by taking our foot off the gas. All that being said, a win is a win. And I was actually quite happy that we ended up putting ourselves in a position where now we take the playoffs out of the equation to fight their way back into it. It feels like now all of a sudden with the match against Eintracht Frankfurt, we're going to be moving into the knockout rounds without having to play our way in. So from that standpoint, mission accomplished. But still, our form in the Premier League is something completely different than our form in the Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think many people would disagree with you because, but we took our foot off in the second half. We could have gone man for man, now to spare man. So that would have made a big difference, So, but we didn't. I understand the caution after a run of losses and that. You want to get the win under the belt. It was a bit overly cautious. The crowd.
I don't think Frank has it in him. I don't think Thomas Frank has it.
We will come to that later, and Frank. I mean, I don't think he Spurs DNA either. But it worked well. I mean, like the crowd were excellent. I mean, but we got the early goal. I mean, the crowd started well. We got the early goal, lifted the crowd more, and it worked both ways. The crowd lifted the team, and the team lifted the crowd. And in the second half, especially, the crowd were trying to lift the team because they wanted more. They wanted a third or fourth goal, which we could have got. But at the beginning of the game, we got a nice goal earlier. One of Odegaard's 2 assists, Steve. What did you take on his performance?
Odegaard? I thought Odegaard looked great. As a matter of fact, that right side was actually clicking quite well. The 1-2 passes, the ball that gets played forward onto Odegaard, that actually led to Solanke's goal was an actually beautiful piece of work. It was well worked down the right-hand side, and it's something that Spurs have had a hard time doing, finding that combination of play where where one of possible 2 players is going to get forward. But I thought Odegaard actually played incredibly well. He was working the ball in deep. He was getting balls into the box. He was actually being dangerous. The interesting thing is I thought this match against, now I have to keep this in context as well too, because they did get a guy sent off, and they had to change their approach to the match, and so we ended up having a lot of space. But I thought in that first 25 minutes, Odegaard I thought he actually might have been probably our best forward player there for a minute, and I thought that he was really trying to take it to Dortmund as well too. He was actually skinning defenders, trying to get around the corner, and again that ball that he played in to Solanke was actually an absolute dime. And so from that standpoint, I thought he actually had it probably of the forward players in the first half. I thought he probably was the best. Yeah,
I thought it was his best game in the Spurs shirt. I want to see more of it because apparently he does that in training, but maybe it's not so tackle. It's not so the tackling's not so hard in training, not wanting to injuring people.
Mm-hmm.
But his first cross was the one for the Romero goal. Romero, I mean, he's got 5 goals and 3 assists. I mean, like Steve. I mean, like, and people criticize him. I mean. I know he doesn't actually make as many blunders as people lead him to believe. He picks up cards. I think he's on 7, but I mean for this season, and he's had one match ban. But actually, he seems to find the right space in the box, and in the second half, that header he had from around the back of the post, you'd think he heads the ball. He really is good at heading the ball when he's in the box. I mean, like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really rate the player. Others are mixed. Kev Clark comes over. He's a bit slow moving the ball at times, but we don't see the players' line of sight when we're higher up on the pitch. You don't see it on the telly when you're watching, and it's the players' line of sight, and we're too static at times. And you've got to have movement in front of you, right? If you want to receive a ball, he's got to be able to see you as well. So, well, I think. Some of the criticism's justified and some of it isn't with Romero. And I thought 5 goals, 3 assists, and we're halfway through the season. That is a fantastic return for a centre-back. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about it was the delivery into it was just unbelievable. And his positioning too. That's the thing. It's like that's one of the things that I actually kind of appreciate about him, and that's the reason why he's dangerous, is because he always seems to actually have that inside shoulder. His positioning to be in be in that position to be lethal is something that I don't think we actually give him credit for, because he always just seems to be in the right place at the right time. And what was interesting, and especially on that in that goal, it almost felt like he was unmarked as well too, which actually was, which kind of for to me at least was kind of odd.
Yeah, their defense was caught a bit flat-footed.
Yeah,
for that one. Wayne Boller, mate. How old's that Byfield kid? He's 17. I watched him play. Actually, I watched the under-21s before this show, actually. Ended about an hour before the show, and they won 2-1 away at Stoke. But he wasn't playing. He wasn't in the squad, so I expect him to be in the squad tomorrow, actually, away at Burnley. But we'll get on to that. He's 17. He didn't take no crap off that German defender, did he? Like when he was that German player, I don't know, can't remember which one it was. He's a lump for a 17-year-old and all. I mean, like
I thought Byfield gave a very good representative of himself in this match, making his. I think he was making his Champions League debut and his senior team debut, and that was actually quite memorable. And so I'm incredibly happy for him, and I'm incredibly happy for his family that they were there to be able to see it. And hopefully, what I'm really hoping is that Byfield, with this performance. And I would probably assume he's going to get rent out against Burnley as well, too, that if he can put himself in a position to have back-to-back solid appearances, that will actually allow Thomas Frank to say, you know what, he's actually going to get a little bit of a run here in the second half, because we're going to need him. But I'm hoping that's the case, because I actually kind of walked away quite impressed with him.
Yeah, we're no shortage of centre-backs at the club. So any links with them now at this time in the transfer window in centre-backs, guys, all of you watching on different platforms, treat it with a pinch of salt. It's just total BS. You've got Byfield doing it there. You've got Ashley Phillips smashing it at Stoke. You've got Dorrington played today, is very composed on the ball, but I don't think he's got a future at the club. And obviously Vuskovic is the one we want back in this squad in the summer. He's the one we want in the summer. Let's move on to a couple of track points. Thomas Frankton, this is David Clark, regular friend of the show. Solanke stopped present from. Yeah, he was gassed. He was gassed, David. He was. That's why.
Yeah. By the way, no. It wasn't that Solanke stopped. He was actually asked to stop pressing. They took their foot off the gas.
David comes at Spurs unless they find something to criticise. Yeah. He only had that tip over the bar, which was at him. You'd expect him to make that save. It was still a good save, but it's one you expect him to make. I thought Xavi Simons had his best game in the Spurs shirt, Steve, as well. And to play injured, that shows character. The one thing about them three younger kids, I'm not talking about, we know what Gray and Bergvall can do. The three young kids, Xavi, Odegaard and Tull, they've got fantastic attitudes. They've really got good attitudes on that pitch, cheering the crowd up and things like that. I want Odegaard to start doing a bit more. I want to see more of what he did against Dortmund. He's got it in him. I'm convinced Tull can be a member of this squad now. His last few performances, and when That's Frank pulled him off, we were all mad. We're all mad. Why are you taking him off? I think he was desperate, Frank, just to turn things around. I think he panicked when he took them off. Here we are.
What,
how are you?
Hey guys, good. How you doing?
Good. We're fine.
I think it was the moment in the second half where Xavi found himself alone with a essentially shot at the near post, and he missed it. But then as soon as that ball gets played out for a corner, you see Xavi doing this. He's trying to fire up the crowd. He's trying to do whatever he can to get everybody just on the same page. And I was actually kind of left there smiling. I don't know, man. I thought Xavi, his energy was something that we hadn't seen up to this point. That type of energy where everything just seems to be going in the right direction.
He's got such good vision, Alan, hasn't he? He's so quick on the turn, like Maddison does it, and Domedy used to do it, but never enough for us. Right?
Yeah.
But he just slips a defender like that, or a player close to him. He just slips them, and he's got that vision. He picks that pass out very quick.
He picks it up. Well, he's very quick. What's amazing is he really hasn't been playing like this at all. This was by far and away his best game in a Spurs shirt. I mean, he's had moments of that, in other games. We've said, oh, he did a pretty good job. This time around, he was just playing out of his skin. I think compared to what we've seen, which is sort of disappointing because I didn't, he has he been holding back?
Would you think that this match against Dortmund was better than his performance against Copenhagen? Because he was lights out. He was lights out against Copenhagen.
Yeah, he was really good against FC Copenhagen as well. The first half, I would say he was better in the first half than the second half.
It was good to see him putting some challenges in some tackles.
Yes,
especially he's got a bruised foot, right?
Yeah, I saw pictures of his ankle because he posted pictures of his ankle.
So he might get rested tomorrow. I mean,
if we have do we have the bench?
Yeah, because you've got players coming back, haven't you? I mean, like we'll talk about that later, but Gallagher will come back, VDV will come back in the side. That's 2. You could move Odegaard into the 10, if you wanted to. But we'll talk about that later. Yeah. No, we've got the players. We've got more because we're not in Europe, basically.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. Chat. Evening, Carl. Evening, Graham. All good friends of the show here. I'm saying evening to you. When we get busy, guys, if I don't go through the chat, you'll have to forgive me because as we grow and we get bigger, obviously we'll take the pertinent points, not people saying hello to each other in the chat. But you can do that now. It's Friday night. So this is one thing, Alan, isn't it? We're all saying scream, signings, and then we're screaming. We get signings and we block the pathway for the youngsters. I mean, like, you can't win with their fan base.
You cannot win. You can't win. Well, you just kind of have to pick a side and then go. With the. I mean, Byfield just had his very first game. I mean, he was okay. I mean, he made mistakes in the game. He was fine. And, it's kind of hard to tell right now. I think there is a great divide because we have such a young squad. But there is a divide between someone like Byfield and maybe like someone like Archie Gray or Pap Saar or something like that. They're not that much difference in age.
Steve, what's point essential to this point? Well, before I lose, in case I lose my thread, on this point, Frank brings in a 17-year-old. He's got Dorrington, who's come back from Aberdeen, who's good on the ball. You've got Malachi Hardy, who plays at centre back today, and yet he picks his 17-year-old kid to start. Tells him he's going to start before the game. Surely that's a clue how much he likes his player.
He must like him.
I would think so. I would think so, right? But also, it's also the things that maybe Dorrington doesn't necessarily have that Byfield does possess, right? And also when you're also looking for energy at when he came on, right? That was the other thing that I was looking for. It's like, who are you going to bring on that's going to kind of keep that energy level up and to try to close this one out. And when you looked on that bench, there wasn't anybody that you can absolutely point to, to really just kind of finish this thing off. And so if you have a young kid in Byfield that is, does have that hype, and he was able to, just with his play, whether it's mistakes or not, where he's able to kind of keep the crowd engaged a little bit, then there it is. So, and I think he did a good job.
How was the mood at the stadium, Adrian?
Oh, it was excellent. Mm-hmm. It was good. I mean, I wondered actually, this is going to work 2 ways. Either the fans are going to unite before this game starts and get behind the team, or they're still going to get behind the team, but when Frank comes out, they're going to boo him or something. That was my fear. I thought, don't do anything before the game. If I'm not a booer, but if you do that sort of thing, you paid your money, fair enough, but do it after the game. Don't do it at half time and have the team nervous for the second half and things like that, because you can affect our chances of getting any sort of result. Solanke came back. All right, he got gas second half, Alan, right?
Yes, he did. Well, he's not fit yet.
He he, among others, was contender for man of the match with Xavi and Odebert, and Danso had a fantastic game. We looked like we had a fulcrum, a point, a pivot to play off in Solanke who could hold the ball. We just looked so much better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, his hold-up play in that midfield, it was always important to us. And, and we were talking about how we would come, some fans would complain, well, he spends too much time in the midfield, not enough time up front. It's great that he wants to advance play, but if he's not up front to receive the ball, what good is he as our center forward? But we didn't realize what we were missing until he was out for 8 months, and then once he came back, he was doing it again, which is sort of reminiscent of someone like Harry Kane. Harry Kane likes to do drop deep and then put the ball forward and stuff. And I know Bayern get kind of frustrated with him that he does that too.
Well, the goal that he scored, right? It all started with him dropping deep to make a touch, working it down the right-hand side. And it was Pedro Porro with the 1-2 with Odebert. And you can see that he was late coming into the box where he kind of stumbled forward and he was able to kind of tap it in with the back of his right foot. He was kind of late getting into the box a little bit. But that being said, it's like that's Solanke. And when you look at the way that Thomas Frank needs his strikers to be, like, that's the thing. It's like it plays off it plays off the player that's going to be able to drop deep, make a touch, and then get the rest of the players getting forward, right? And so that's that is the whole basis of how that buildup works. And so what you're going to get with Dominic Solanke. He's going to run his absolute balls off, and and he's going to press. And he is going to drive forward after that touch to put himself in a position to score goals. Last year, he scored some. Maybe not the return we were expecting, but also Thomas Frank plays completely something different than Ange Postecoglou. So, I was just happy he got service yesterday, a couple days ago. I was happy he got the service.
Yeah, well, that was Odebert's second assist.
Yeah.
When he put that ball through, which cannon between his ankles and rolled agonizing, and we're all blowing it in. Where I'm sitting down the far end, we're blowing the ball over the line, going, and it looked like it was going to curl out, and it just hit the post and just rolled in. And
lucky goal,
but
we'll take it.
Well, I thought we were going to win the game anyway, but I see Ben Kaufman before the game tapped on the show. I went, Ben, all right? I think we'll look. It's like 24th game undefeated at home in Europe. It's not a bad record. We need to repeat that in the Premier League, don't we? So I'm sure we'll do it. I mean, you go through these phases as a team, but it will become a stronghold just simply because, well, when you look at the less wealthier teams or the teams down the bottom and those that survive relegation, they don't survive on their away form. They survive because their home form's good, and they take scalps. And then everyone gets excited season when a lesser team beats one of the top six or something. At home, it's never a surprise. This is the Premier League. This will happen. So.
What'd you think of Spence up front?
Yeah, I think that was forced on Frank, wasn't it? Really, he's not going to do it if rumours are incomings that are coming in Sousa and Robertson, which we'll come to later. I think now we're covered on the right with Porro and him, and Porro can have a rest, right? Because look, I thought the whole back four were brilliant, right? They were all good, right? Romero was outstanding, VDV, like the whole back four were excellent, and I thought Gray was very good again in midfield, and he was going to have to do a lot of it. And obviously, Xavi was good. I mean, you could have actually given man of the match to anyone in that team, really, probably apart from Vicario. But I mean, yeah.
He didn't have a lot to do, but he still screwed up once.
And he's still frustratingly. Now, this isn't all his fault. He's still frustratingly slow at getting rid of the ball, right?
Yeah.
But what we aren't doing under Frank, which is another critique, which is a fair critique. Hang on, when Ainge was here, right? What did you see? Two wingers tight on the touchline. Even when we were defending, there was always an out ball. There was always an out ball. Even when Sonny was, there was always an out ball. But because teams play so deep, now you're waiting for everyone. You get a corner, you clear the corner, now waiting for everyone to get forward.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be the case. Even if you've only got one player doing it, get the out ball.
Yeah.
Even if it was Solanke, he could hold it. If it was Kulusevski, he could hold it. They can hold the ball for you till people get forward. Because he's had to do it in more than they've had to do it Kulu's had to do it in enough games before when he saved us in away games, where he's had to hold it and wait for reinforcements to arrive. So
I think it was Odegaard that put that crossed the ball across the goal that just no one was there in the Dortmund game.
Yeah. Actually played better. No, I wouldn't say we played better with Kudus. We just played better in this game as a team. If Kudus was in that team, we'd still have played better. We were up for it, and we know the team can do it. And it's not that we haven't got quality in the team. When people say this squad lacks quality, it doesn't lack quality. What it lacks is experience. There are undoubted talents in this team that are very young, that are developing, and that we should be in that situation. You could put 5 in there, and that's without. VDV's only 24 or whatever. But if you said tell Odegaard, right, Moani, and then you went Graham Bergvall, how many teams are going to play 5 youngsters like that?
Right.
We've seen them all in the team at the same time. And then you've got Doggy, who isn't that old, and you've got VDV, who's 24, whatever it is, So we are the youngest, we can field the youngest or the second youngest team in the league. I think Chelsea could possibly field a younger one. I'm not sure, but I don't want to talk about them. Right.
When we talk about experience, what qualities are we looking for in experience? Is it a lack of discipline that an experienced player will bring more discipline, like an Andy? Andy Robertson is the big news right now, and
he's vice captain at Liverpool. That's good news.
He's vice captain of Liverpool. Yeah, he's vice captain of Liverpool. He's
and
captain
people say
of
about us, right? If we're such a bad team or bad squad, which we're not, we're underperforming, but we're not, and we've had loads of injuries. So Frank gets some sympathy there, but he doesn't in the fact that he's had like 32 games and a pre-season now, or he's won the 32nd game, right? But he's had 21 league games, 6 or 7 Champions League games, 2 League Cup games, an FA Cup, and a pre-season. It's about 32 games he's had, right? We should have seen a pattern, a growth in our style of play, which we haven't seen.
We haven't seen
it, right? So no excuse for that. So Enoch out, I wouldn't care if they'd gone as a buyer, complete buyout. That's what we need in this football club.
Yeah, and Andy Robertson is the type of experience that he wants, not only in the Premier League, but he's also won every major trophy there is to win in England and also in Europe as well too. I think he's got two Premier League titles, a Champions League title, 2 FA Cups, 1 FA Cup, 2 League Cups. He's won the Super Cup. He's won the Shield. He's won everything there is to win. And when you
look at our squad. They're Europa Cup winners, right? Romero's won a World Cup and 2 Copa Americas.
Yeah. But when you think about playing for Jurgen Klopp,
2 AFCONs.
It's like when you think about Jurgen Klopp and what it takes to actually play for Jurgen Klopp, the expectations of just getting into 11, let alone staying into it. Andy Robertson knows exactly what it takes to compete at this level, right? And so from that standpoint, you're kind of hoping that rubs off on a VDV and a Romero and some of these guys that may or may not look at this situation and just say, Frank's going to get sacked anyway. So, we're getting a little comfortable. You know what I mean? You're hoping that Andy Robertson's the type of guy that says, no, you don't play that way.
And what was interesting as well for me is you bring Spence in, who was fantastic on the left, right? Right, wanted to take his man on.
He was okay.
And probably because he's right-footed. Because you would actually assume when I thought, okay, Odegaard's on the left, Spence will be on the right, in front of Porro. But he wasn't. It was the other way around. So that caught me a bit, right? And the subs, as much as I like Marnie as a footballer, it's not happening for him, Steve, is it? It's just not happening for him.
It's
I mean,
actually
some
kind of
fans are saying he's disinterested. He don't want to be at the club. I think he's professional. I think he's trying, but there was that ball in the second half he didn't run for, and Spence went because Spence is the second fastest player at the club. He went
right.
storming down the left, Spence, because he blew me on the pitch, and he got to it. Then someone was saying, "Oh, if Marnie had gone for it, he would have been offside." So there might have been something in that. I'm not so sure,
Right.
but yeah, but
You know,
then naturally the fans that thought, "Oh, you didn't run for it," and you've seen, and when you see the rest of the effort the team's put in, he weren't on for long. So whether he starts more is another thing, but I'd rather Tell started him through the centre than him. But we'll get onto that later. We've got King Oddles back here, good friend of the show. Gallagher wants to give you his character. Yeah, well, now you've got, as you say, you've got Gallagher as a leader, Robertson's a leader, Romero's a leader. I mean, VDV is by his way he plays, even Porro. I mean, it's form and injuries. It's just lack of consistency, form and injury. And Frank must take the critique for not giving us some sort of, well, we should have a pattern of play even if we haven't got a settled team. We should still have a pattern of play, and I don't see it. I just don't see it, right? So
the interesting thing though is like when I think of Kolo Muani and I think some of his best portions of the season, it's like when he's got a good run of minutes. Like when he came over to Juventus, like he played in like 8 straight. And he was absolutely banging in goals. And it's like that dude's a rhythm player, and he absolutely just needs continuous minutes. The biggest issue though with Kolo Muani is the fact that at one point in time, Richarlison actually caught form, and he was actually scoring goals there. There was like a 5-6 match stretch there where it seemed like Richarlison was pretty much scoring every single weekend, right? And so Thomas Frank is looking at it. It's like, he might be the better striker, but Richarlison is in form. And so when Kolo was getting on the field, he was playing on the left wing, and of course he's not a winger. And so I just think the timing. Me personally, I just believe that the timing was bad for Kolo Muani, and I thought that like this right now, that with Richarlison down, and until Solanke kind of gets ripped up to a full 90, that you would see Kolo Muani get a nice little stretch of games. Although what ended up happening was Solanke ends up getting a start against Borussia Dortmund, even though that he's not up to a full 90. And it just kind of lets you know where Thomas Frank actually prioritizes Kolo Muani right now. But I still think he's a good player. I mean, he played in a World Cup final for France
Well, he smashed it in Germany before PSG paid all that money for him. They paid about 80 million for him.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Juventus, and his record's there not bad. It's like a goal every other game.
The problem with Asim Koi's there in the chat, he says cancel the loan. The problem with that is we're not going to have Richarlison back for an extended period of time. And we're using Matisse Tell as a winger right now because we don't have anybody else on the left and we don't have anybody on the right. So Odegaard is taking that spot on the right. And so that leaves Richarlison and Kolo Muani as our only two strikers right now. And if we cancel the loan, it's essentially it's Solanke and Kolo Muani. And so if you cancel the loan, then it's just Solanke and Dane Scarlett. And I would probably assume that because the numbers are because the numbers are what they are, they're not going to get rid of a player. It's the reason why Matisse Tell is not going to go out on loan.
And Tell needs an extended run as a 9, but it's a risk to do that. I mean, he did well at Leeds on the right when he scored. He's played a couple of times as a 9. When he was first coming out, like now I think he's more settled. I think he'd do a better job as a 9. He's certainly got the energy. He certainly presses.
I do too.
So
yeah, but but if we don't get a winger, that's who's going to be on your left hand side for the time being. That's all I'm saying. Matisse Tell is going to pull down that left side.
Yeah, and also with Tell Muani is you got to make a decision because on February the 5th we have to, after the transfer window closes 7 p.m. UK time on the 2nd of February, but on the 5th you've got to post your Champions League. Now Johnson's gone, who was homegrown, but we brought Conor Gallagher in. So it'll be the same as last year. We'll only be able to register 22 players. That's without the under-21s, mine. So it's not a disaster or nothing like that. It's without the. But most teams have got the same problem we've got when it comes to homegrown, right through the league, right?
By the way, just out of curiosity, will Andy Robertson count as a homegrown?
He's Scottish, I don't.
Well, homegrown is UK though,
He's
right?
he's been at Liverpool long enough. I would have thought he may well do. Actually, I haven't given that any
Yeah.
thought whatsoever. Yeah.
I think he counts as a homegrown because he's UK. He's a UK product, and he spent X amount of time playing for one team already. But yeah, do you think? I don't know, man. I think Batiste gets into that knockout round Champions League roster.
Yeah, that's what we'll come to that as well. I mean, Roy Park, thanks for your question. I think they're going to rest Solanke. He's not fit for nothing. We start. I actually think Solanke will start. You play him until he's gassed. It's only a fitness level, so it's not an injury level like you're worried about. Come on and give him 20 minutes and he plays really well. You think, why haven't we brought him on earlier? And you've got Tell as well. I mean, so, like now that there's still going to be a question of whether, depends if Odegaard moves back over to the left. I mean,
I don't think so.
We'll see. Well, if he stays on the right with Solanke in the middle, then Tell can take the left wing spot instead of Spence now. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tell was on the left then, because he's played there before, right? Well, quite a few times. So yeah.
Andy Robertson does qualify as homegrown. He started at Hull when he was 20.
Yeah.
And he was at Hull for 3 seasons, and then went to Liverpool.
Yeah, there's different rules in the Champions League to there are in the Premier League, though. They should be the same, but they're not. Yeah,
right. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Carl.
Yeah. So second half, though, me and Steve alluded to it earlier, Alan. I mean, we did drop off it. I thought it was just caution because we just want to get a win under our belts rather than anything else. Because I said we could have gone man for man, had one spare because they were down to 10. And we give them a lot of possession second half, though they did nothing with it.
They did nothing with it. I mean, I was nervous about this game because this Dortmund, I think, has only lost 1 game in the Bundesliga. And they're looking dangerous under their coach. And they have very good players. That's a team that has players that people might recognize. Schlotterbeck is no joke, and Emre Can is good, and they had some people like Joe Bellingham, some people don't like him. But Adeyemi, I thought in the very beginning for the first 2 minutes looked very dangerous. He's very fast. I did not realize just how fast he is. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice if we had that kind of speed on our wing? And he was pretty aggressive. He didn't have a good game, but he is aggressive. What were you saying?
Adeyemi's been offered to us. He's been offered to us by Dortmund. Yeah, because his girlfriend doesn't want to live in Dortmund. She wants to move to a bigger city.
Oh, and London is that bigger city.
The rumored offer to us was 60 mil, but I think
I'd pay it.
By the way, if that was your audition for Adeyemi,
I think we've got eyes on other targets, which will come.
If that was your audition,
yeah, it wasn't very good.
It wasn't very good because he was pulling up when they tried to play balls over the top and he didn't necessarily hustle to them. There was a few different times where I'm kind of like, that dude wasn't fighting for every ball, every opportunity. But that being said, it's like after that red card, it threw their entire game out of whack because at that stage, they're a front foot attacking team and they're not necessarily built for, essentially playing nine behind the ball, but they had to play that way. And it was what ended up happening in the second half was they were so out of rhythm that they couldn't even string 2 passes together at one point. And Spurs were also dropped 10 behind the ball as well, too. And so
they were rattled. They were definitely rattled first half.
And you had this weird game in the second half where you're kind of like who's going to get forward? Like, who is going to at least try to get forward and utilize the space that's available? And, that whole second half was just bananas.
For the first half, I thought we were going to go at least 3 up because it was we could have been we should have been at least 3 up because there were opportunities that we missed or took bad shots or whatever. But just talking about that first half, I'm so kind of torn and frustrated with our squad because if that's the sort of play that we are capable of, why haven't we been doing it more often? I just don't understand.
None of us do. I think because, like most managers in the Premier League, the first thing they think of is about saving their butts. So they tend to play cautiously or negatively. And I
But we
think
didn't play negatively.
no, we didn't. I think Frank's come to realise if he does that, big up Paul for coming a member. Oh, and Paul's gifted 5 membership. Brilliant,
Oh,
brilliant.
nice.
Thank you very much for your generosity of spirit. Yeah.
And the anyone that is sort of against the idea of Andy Robertson, first of all, he fits exactly what we need, a left-sided left back. That's him, and he does it very well for a team that's better than us, and especially during the time when we had a better team. They were still kind of better than us, and unfortunately, in a moment I'm very sad about, they beat us in a heatedly contested Champions League final, and he was a part of that.
Yeah.
And
he was 31 in March.
Yeah. And look at, people thought that Jordan Henderson wasn't going to be anything when he came back from the Middle East. Everyone thought that but he has had quite the effect on Brentford. And he did well at Ajax, and then he came back, and now he's at Brentford, and his age has nothing to do with it.
Well, they've got Kirkers, who they got in, or rated as a good player, and they loaned out a fullback they might bring back. But this is their chance to get some money for him. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would hope the recruitment team, the data analysis team, have done their due diligence and to show that, his stats aren't crap and we're buying someone who's really on the wane. But then again, we do know there are lots of players that play into their 30s now. You take John O'Shea, for example, just an example. The midfielder that was at Enfield has played for everyone. Liverpool that's played for everyone. He's about 38 now. If Danny Welbeck can play at 38 or whatever it is, I don't know, 58 or how old he is. I mean, with the diet and nutrition,
he looks so young.
Now, the players can play. I mean, some say, 31. Well, if they've done it and he passes all the fitness and I've looked at his stats, and he may have been left out of the Liverpool side for rotation purposes. Don't know if he's been injured. I don't know. But he should be out of play till he's 34.
I was about to say, if we could get 3 good years out of him,
yeah.
Where's the harm? I don't understand. You get all that experience, and he can affect. He allows Jed Spence, who must be over the moon with the idea that he might be coming, because then he can actually go to the side he wants to play on. Pedro Porro must be excited because he knows that if Jed Spence comes over to the right side, he can actually rest and have a normal, maybe normal season of play. And having someone like that, Ben Davies, because someone said, well, he's just a glorified Ben Davies. He's not a Ben Davies. He's not a Ben Davies. He's got he's won a lot more. Yes, he is. Ben Davies is also kind of a leader, but I think Andy Robertson is the next step up from that.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what the conversation with has been between Frank and Vinay with Andy Robertson for him to come to us. I mean, obviously he's been promised game time, which he's not getting at Liverpool. We know that Udogie. I mean, I'm just hoping Udogie gets over all his injury problems, because I think he's such a fantastic talent. I really do. And so we'll see on that. So, yeah, like you say, vice captain at Liverpool. So brings experience into the team and the dressing room. So I'm not knocking any of that.
Liverpool is not happy about it.
Though. I don't know what his recent stats are, how many games he's played this season, whether he's come back.
Andy Robertson, I think, has only started, 3 games.
Right. He's going to get more than that at Spurs.
Yeah.
Can I just say this? I want to actually give some flowers to the recruitment team. A recruitment team that I generally bash every single opportunity that I have, every opportunity I can, because they've absolutely earned it. But what I will say is, in this January window, one of the things that we badly needed was ready-made players, but also leadership. and they actually kind of killed it by bringing in Conor Gallagher and now Andy Robertson. Two guys that are absolutely exceptional, that are serial winners, that actually add to this leadership group, and especially a time where you're kind of looking around and wondering if there's somebody that's going to be able to grab the squad by the scruff of the neck and kind of lead them on. And now you have two guys that absolutely know how to do it. And it's one of the things where it's like you can replace the manager, and that actually might be the right move. But it's also, you can also bring in quality leadership that actually kind of helps you in that department as well too, before the season kind of slips away. And I actually thought those two incomings were actually right on the money. And I just think I think it's a good opportunity to kind of give the recruitment team a little credit here.
And importantly, they have European experience. We're not going to win this Champions League, but we could freak it if we get to the quarterfinals. We've done very well, because then you're saying like top 8. Well, we know that Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, and Liverpool. Well, there's 8 teams that you would say, even begrudgingly with the main rivals that we hate there, that are better than us, right? Got better squads than us. So we get to the quarterfinals, we've done well. But what it does, it keeps the excitement going. It keeps your season going. You could get through to January. You could be out of the League Cup, first round of the FA Cup out, and out of Europe, and have nothing to play for, right? And then that's usually the time where you win games against big teams, because there's nothing at stake. You want to win games against big teams when you're challenging for honours, Yeah. I'm just going through the chat here. Yeah, Robertson, his experience will be invaluable. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be good for us or not. I know all the things we said he'd be good for us for, form-wise and playing-wise. I just don't know.
What's up, Dan?
I mean, we don't know. And then you look at the fee. One outrageous fee said 27 mil. Well, it can go on a free in the summer. Another one on Talk Radio, Talk Sport Radio, they went, the room was 8 mil. Then I've seen one at 2.7 or something. But I would have thought Liverpool would be happy to get anything for him. Basically anything under, someone posted in our WhatsApp group, anything under 10 mil, I think is a good deal.
Yeah.
Because you're getting it now. Because in the summer, there'll be loads of winning.
Free. Yeah.
Because you don't know who's got, what clubs have got injuries or whatever. Yeah, and I think we're probably what other attraction? He's not going to go to any other teams fighting for the champion for the league, is he? So
no.
So coming to us is probably we're probably matching his wages, 160 grand a week.
Yep.
So well, we weren't given a chance last year winning the Europa League, were we, Wayne? And then we were told when we won it, we didn't beat anyone of significance. And then Bodo Glimt go and slap Man City during the week. Yeah.
Did they ever?
And how many would go to Frankfurt and win as well? So like this all rubbish. This is the anti-Spurs media in full throttle. When West Ham won the Conference League, you'd think England had won the World Cup. The reports they got, all the kudos they got,
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to the banners. Where was it? Right. For those of you watching on various platforms, 60 of you viewing us on a Friday night, which is good. The transfer window closes 5th of February at 1900. That's in 9 days tomorrow. Yep. That is 9 days from tomorrow, yeah? So let's still let you know that. So there's 9 days to go. Guys, both of you, how many signings after Robinson? And I'm going to add a caveat to this because I've been giving this some thought, as I do everything. Too much thought usually. Do you think now we got Sousa in, one for the future? We're getting Robinson. We got Conor Gallagher. We haven't spent a lot of money. Do you think we're now going to go and get one big name signing? That might not necessarily be elite. I'd class Gallagher as the level below elite. I'd say the same for Robinson if he can hit the form he's at Liverpool, right? Mm. Probably like it's going to be a very rare thing if we got an elite player in, like a Rodrigo from Spain.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Sylvina's still injured. Do you think we've got our irons in the fire? There's been a lot more rumors about Akluish again, who I'd love at the club, right? But
Yeah.
I'm greedy. I'd want him and another. You know what I mean? So like, what do you think we're saving our pennies for the the nearest thing to an elite player we can get in, Steve?
I would say that's going to happen in the summer. The biggest issue with the January transfer window is like, in order to get that big guy, you're going to have to overpay because teams are in a situation where, a lot of teams, number one, are still in contention, whether they're in their domestic cups or whether in their Champions League, Europa League, whatever the case may be. And with 9 days to go, it doesn't give them that much time to try to replace that player. And so from that standpoint, I actually agree with you because I actually think that this club absolutely needs a star. Like somebody that actually, when people go buy shirts and actually put their name on the back. Now, for me, that guy's going to be coming off the injured, is going to be coming out of the medical room pretty quick. And of course, I'm talking about my guy Kulu. But, for like those people that love buying Kane shirts and guys that love putting Sonny on the back of their shirt, there is always going to be a need to have that one guy. And I would probably assume that is a summertime type of deal where, they actually do have the time to negotiate and make sure that they're actually getting them at a price that is that's going to be a little bit more conducive to what Spurs want. But in the winter window, if they're able to walk away with a winger, regardless of which side, and if that's Akluish, I would think that would be such a huge get for this team at this stage.
He would fill so many positions for us. Yeah, and he's gettable. You paid a 52 mil. You've got him.
Yeah, and it seems like Thomas Frank is keen to actually play him on the left eventually once Kudus comes back, because he's a left-footed player, and Thomas Frank he's already stated that he actually envisions that guy long-term as a left-sided winger. And so from that standpoint, initially when you bring him in, you can play him on the right. And then you can play him on the right because he's a right winger right now. And so from that standpoint, you can play him there. You can move Odegaard back to left and give yourself a little bit more depth on that left-hand side. And then once Kudus comes back, then you can move him to the left. But, the interesting thing is, I think, to answer your question, no, I do not think that we're going to get like a Harry Kane level type of star in the winter. But would it surprise me if they ended up with an Akluish? No, because I think that is something that they want. The question is this going to be something where maybe you help Monaco out by giving something back in return in order to facilitate the deal? You know what I mean?
There's other wingers in. I mean, there's other players here, but ignore them because we're mainly talking about
like a Basuma.
Now, I mean, if we went, we know that Crystal Palace, unfortunately for their fantastic fans, are sort of falling apart, right? They've lost Gueye. Looks like they're going to lose Mateta. They've lost Eze. Next one out the door, probably Wharton. Want to go. If we went to Palace and said we'll give you 80 million cash now for Wharton.
Well, how about this? And I was just thinking about this a little bit earlier. What if we bring Mikey Moore back off of loan from Rangers? And in order to facilitate the deal for Akluish, we actually give him to Monaco on a 6-month loan until the summer. So they actually have a winger that they actually have through the door to replace him short term. We get him back in the summer, and then they can actually shop for his replacement in the summer. So at least they're not going to be without on a short-term loan.
Ignore the others here. But we've got wingers here, right? You've got Christos Tzolis at Club Bruges. Yeah. Mainz Akluish at Monaco. Karim Ademi, who didn't impress for Dortmund, who smashed it in Germany, and he looks a bit lightweight. He looks
Almala would be nice.
You've got Brand Diaz, who smashed it but missed that penalty trying to do a Rabona or whatever it was.
What a weird game that end of that game was.
I didn't watch it. And you've got Syed El Mala, right? And Mika Götze at Wassenheim, at Ajax. So there's about 6 wingers here. I don't say striker and left-sided player, but we know Akluish can play all across the midfield basically. But when we're talking about number 9s, we've got Solanke. Tell can play
Yeah.
there. We've got Scarlett. I mean, I think we're more in need of that winger than we are of a striker. If we're only going to bring one player in,
I would agree.
And I would take Zolis. I like Aklouche, right? But I really like him, right? Because he's versatile as well. And what I see for Monaco against us, I would take Zolis. Demi, I'm not sure about after this week's performance. Brahim Diaz, yeah, definitely take him. And you've got Sadio Mala, definitely take him. I mean, like if we went to Real Madrid and said, look, I mean, we were talking last year about 70 mil for Slovenia, right? I reckon if you went and offered 80 mil for Rodrigo, you'd get him.
Yeah,
maybe. But that being said, is Rodrigo the guy? Is he really that guy that you feel like is going to be a star? I mean,
for goals, all that, his stats are good. And tell you what was fascinating today. I was listening to Talk Sport Radio, and they had Stan Collymore on, and he come up with some interesting stats because I've been banging on for seasons now about the fact I don't care if we've got Ronaldo on one wing and Messi on the other. If the wingers don't score goals, I don't want them, right? And actually, Collymore today came out a list of stats, and goals for games for winners in the Premier League is pathetic. Hardly any of them. I mean, 1 in 4 was considered good back in the day. 1 in 2 for your front two strikers. I mean, Sonny was exceptional because he was 1 in 3, right? Salah's exceptional, right? But most of these wingers, they look pretty, but their end product isn't very good. In fact, Kudus would stand up with him for his stats this season before he got injured, even though we all want more from him, want more goals from him, basically. But his stats stand up with the rest of them, you know. You get a couple that are good, and the rest, their goal scoring, their strike rates are pathetic.
You know, my issue is we don't play wingers into the box to score goals. You know, in Thomas Frank's system, they hug the touchline. They're responsible for playing balls into the box, right? Their service in, their ability to get down the line, skin a man, and play somebody in, whether that's either off a cross or a through ball into the box. That's kind of like that's kind of what Thomas Frank is looking out of his out from his wingers, right? So I hear what you're saying, Adrian, but it's like even when we were at full strength, our wingers were never played in to score goals.
Right. Let me add a caveat to it, and the reason why I've always gone on about it, right? The reason I've always gone on about it, because in the lowest Premier League leagues, right, the winners, the minimum goals they've scored is 86. Man City, the 7 times they've won it or something, I think 2 times or whatever, they scored over 100 goals, right?
Mm.
Even I think we might have scored 86 when we finished second, right? Where are we getting 86 goals from? We should be looking at a challenge for league. Where are we getting 86 goals from? And we were lucky Romero scored 5 and got 3 assists. You know, I mean, this is the thing. If we thinking of building to challenge for this league, we got to be looking to score a lot more goals than we're getting now. And we can't be you're not going to rely on Solanke got 15 in all competitions last season. Richarlison's got what, 8 this year, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah. And he's in his best form of his life and he's got 8. Right?
Yeah.
So,
World Cup season.
Yeah, exactly that. And so where are we getting the goals from? Now, the other thing that should be happening, which he's in the box. You need late runners in the box. It seems to be like Paulina's chipped in with a few, right? He's got in the box. But you got to look like, say your front striker, say 2 of them, you pair them for a season, they got, you know, and they got 15 each in today's modern game, 30. If you got 10 each from 2 wingers, you're now at 50. You're still looking for 36 goals from a midfield, and the back 7 players, right?
Mm.
You know, you'd want 4 to 5 goals from each of them. Your midfielders and whatever that are playing to get you to that level, and that still might not be enough for you to win the league. So, when I looked at wingers like Skov Olsen and Rooney Bardi that people probably haven't heard of listening to the show now, I'm looking for wingers that score bangers from outside the box. I mean, and another thing that made me laugh about that, Frank don't like people shooting from outside the box. Really? Well, go and have a look at Xavi Simons' videos. I think he scored 1 goal from inside the box. All his other goals from outside the box.
That's how Sonny used to
Like
score.
yeah, he cuts in like Kulusevski, either on the left or right, and bangs one in. And you see him. At least he's brave enough to have a shot. He's put a few over the bar, right, and to the side. But at least he's brave enough to have a go from there. With other players, just won't do it. You know. So, yeah. So, yeah. We're up to. Yeah, Alan. So, how many signings do you think we're going to make
after Robertson?
Yeah,
I think we're going to see 2, maybe 3 more.
3 more? Wow. Hope you're right. You didn't, Steve. How many did you think? I mean, I think 1 or 2, but I mean, like,
I think
depends on how much money we're going to spend.
Right. I think it's interesting. We have yet to flex our supposed war chest, the 150 million that we had available for this window. And like I said, I will give him credit.
Well, the Johnson transfer covers Gallagher, right?
Right.
And we spent 30 mil on Sousa, and we might spend, say it's 10 on, we're not spending 10 mil on Robertson.
Right.
So that's 23 mil. We've only spent maximum 23, and I actually think we'll get Robinson for 3 to 5 mil, I think, actually.
And so from that standpoint, you would like to think that, me personally, I think we need 2 wingers in. I just don't necessarily think that's necessarily feasible, but I do see at least 1 player coming in that is going to be a forward player, and whether that's Akalush or whether that's El Malo, whatever the case may be, I think that's probably going to end up being the window. And, but that being said, when you look back on it and you see the fact that, we ended up with, whatever the forward player is going to be with Conor Gallagher and Andy Robinson and Sousa, I think most people will say, like, you know what, it's actually not a bad window.
Yeah, there was sort of rumours on Jonathan David because he's took the mantle over from Moani at Juventus, and we were linked with Sammy Aguawa. I don't think we're going to risk spending 85 million on a Porto striker after Kuna is struggling a bit at Arsenal. Kuna's struggling at Man United, and Gyökeres is struggling at
Arsenal.
So we're not risking that. Even Jonathan David, we have had so many looks at him. The first time I ever looked at him, I thought, tap in merchant. When I looked at his last videos, the last season, the last time I looked, I thought, you have improved. He had improved. At Lille, I think his goal scoring went up. He looked a lot better. There's not enough gravitas on it. What we need to take into consideration, guys, are what I usually use as a yardstick for all of you in the chat as well. If you go to media reports, linking us with players now that we haven't been linked with before, ignore them. If we haven't got our list of players now, Alan, we're never going to have it. And especially with only like 9 days left tomorrow, right?
Oh, yeah.
We should have our list. So rumours linking us with Akalush, because that we have been linked. We're just making a final decision on him or whatever, either yes or no. But any new bodies thrown into the frame before that window, unless they're an opportunistic signing that we know superb. If somebody said Real Madrid come and said, "Well, we'll sell you Rodrigo for 75 mil," then obviously if that sort of a deal, you'll do it. Others though,
King Hoddle brings up a really good one right there. He said, 2 if one's on loan, and that is something that I think that we haven't talked about yet, whether or not this club is actually going to, go the route of what we did last year with Matisse Tell or the year before with a guy like Timo Werner. And just because we need bodies, whether or not there's going to be that Hail Mary loan, that loan deal at the end of the window.
I'm just going through the chat. I can see us. This could happen 2 ways. This window is going to end with, I think, 2 more signings. If it's 3, I'll be surprised. I can see it being 2. We now have the money now to really like pressure teams and say, look, I would take him now and all. I would just take him no matter who else we get in, basically. I like him. Then if he comes on flop, I'll be in the mud. But it's not the first time I've been in the mud. Right. Yeah. So Haaland struggling. He scored over 20 league goals this year, though.
Yeah,
he's entitled to struggle. Go for a bit where he's off form.
I would love to be struggling like.
I mean, who else could score?
I know. I know.
Yeah. So I've got more interesting things to bring up as well. Hang on. Where were we? Right. Now I've had this, guys, I've seen this in lots of podcasts because I go and nose and listening and always give them a thumbs up and that. So some of our fans are saying, "Oh yeah, we don't need that player because when Madison's back and Kulu's back and all that, like, we won't be able to fit him in the squad." I don't think having the situation we're in, I don't mind having a bloated squad to get us out of this situation, right?
No,
We can
not
worry
at all.
about excess players in the summer and then get rid of them. What's your take on it, guys?
I think this is a good problem to have, right? Don't you think, Alan? You know, like
bloated squad an issue in our present situation. I mean,
yeah, it's like,
look, we've seen what happens if we obviously are a magnet for injuries, and we see what happens when our depth is lacking. We wind up pulling up, no offense to Byfield, but we shouldn't. That sort of situation really shouldn't happen where we're starting to get so slim and thin on the bench that we're pulling up youngsters and kind of asking them to do something that may be unfair, to try to fill the shoes of someone that is more experienced, more time, everything, and kind of unreasonable expectations. A bloated squad with us, I mean, we're going to have so many injuries. Injuries. It's a good, as Steve is alluding to, this is being bloated, I think would be a good problem to have, not a bad one. I'd rather, like Chelsea just snaps up everything, but it seems to work for them.
Well, to give you all an example, right, because I did this earlier, right, in the chat. I mean, 60 of you viewing us on various platforms. We've been going now. If you like the content, guys, please hit that red subscribe button, the bottom hand corner on YouTube. If you're watching on various platforms, please go to YouTube and hit the subscribe button because it really helps the algorithm and all that. Subscribe and give the videos a thumbs up. And at the same time, get over to Steve on Stateside Footy there. I mean, like, because he does loads of content. And you have Alan over here. And while I'm finished, and those on you on playback who watch these videos later, please subscribe to us and to those guys as well. Right, now, we're going to go to, where was I going to? Okay, now, this is the fit squad, guys, but it's just because it's numbers I'm giving it to. Now, I had to do it in 2 lots because it won't fit in all of these banners, right? So we've got 18 here. We've got Vicario, Kinski, Austin, Udogi, Davis, we know he's injured. Sousa's just come in. We don't know if he's going to be part of the squad or what. I think he would have been promised part of the squad to come and sign for us, though. Romero, VDV, Danso, Dragerson, Porro, Spence, Gray, Bergvall, we know he's injured. Bentancur, we know he's injured. Basuma, we know I want him out of the club, but he may have a role to play. And Paulina, who might be back from injury tomorrow. And Gallagher, that's 18 there, right? Now we've got another 10 because you got Xavi, Madison, we know he's injured. Kula, we know he's injured. Kudus, we know he's injured. You got Tel, Odobert, Solanke, Richarli, we know he's injured. Moani's a loan player, maybe going, but we might not cut his loan off, we might keep him. And Scarlett. That's 28 without Robinson, which is 29 when everyone's fit. And without the 3 players, Alan says we're right. And just to complicate things further, right, on this.
Well, like I could see, go ahead.
We have a 25-man Champions League squad, right? That's if you've got the amount of you're allowed 17 foreign and 8 homegrown players to be registered 5th of February, 3 days after the window shuts. Spurs can register 22 players, not excluding under 21s due to a homegrown issue. Last year we could only register 22, but we did have under 21s but we got rid of Johnson now, but we brought in Gallagher. So it should still be 22. I stand to be corrected on this because I only did this today, right? So I'm not against having a bloated squad. It's not my problem if we get rid of it at the end of the season, Alan.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if Dragishin and Tell wound up at Roma or something like that. We have some more outgoings before the end of the window. Those 2 specifically, I've heard a lot of rumors about Dragishin, one, although he just got married, but that he wants to go back to Italy. He wants game time, which is I find hilarious because he's been injured. He couldn't have had the game time. So the fact that he's been out is an injury having nothing to do with us choosing him over other people.
Well, with Dragusin as well, before Byfield's performance, I would have said, no, we can't let anyone go.
Yeah.
But now I think you got Danso played as well as he could, right? So that's free. But if you had Byfield in, you could let Dragusin go. You could even sell him. We haven't really seen enough of him, to be fair. We've seen the good and bad of him. He's had mixed performances.
But if we could get money for him and Roma are willing to even, if they were willing to take him, I think they want him. And if Tell really wants, because I think Tell fashions himself as a center forward.
Would you like to see Tell go? I wouldn't. I wouldn't like to see Tell go.
No.
I don't necessarily want to see Tell go. But I'm saying that I could see him leaving, because he wants game time and he want in I think his chosen position, which I don't think is the wing.
Right.
I think he wants to play.
Who do we see going on loan or going? I think Kinski needs to play games, but it's very hard for any goalkeeper to get games because whatever club they go to, they're going to be second choice. They're still going to be second choice.
I don't. By the way, I don't think any of them are going to go on loan. Especially right now, considering the squad issues. As much as Dragusin's agent loves to talk. The reality is like outside of, out now that Ben Davis is out and really the only guy who's, the only guy that right now has been stepping up is Danso. But we also know that the injury history between Romero and VDV is exactly touch and go. And the fact that they've been able to stay healthy this far has been fantastic. But we also know that at any given point, one of those guys are going to go down. And that's where Dragusin comes into play. Because if Danso steps in, you're going to need Dragusin in that rotation. So from that standpoint, he's not going to go anywhere. And if we don't,
is he going to get league games, Steve? Is he going to get league games? Because I doubt he's going to make the ECL squad.
Yeah, you would probably think that if we advance in the knockout rounds, there's going to be rotation in the Premier League. But that being said, it's like if one of those guys go down, then Dragusin is going to have to step in that rotation. And so from that standpoint, I can't see them letting Dragusin get away. The same thing with Matisse Tell. It's like I understand the kid has the want to play at his natural position. I totally understand that. But the reality is, if we don't get a winger in across the line between now and the end of the window, that's our starting left wing. And we're not going to put ourselves in a position where we're going to let him go away and then have nobody to play that side.
Yeah.
And we're not going to run what's his Jed Spence on the left side every single week. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah. So would you both agree with saying, okay, Kinski could go on loan? I don't think he could go on loan, right? Davis, we know we're going to get. That's two out, isn't it? Right.
Bergvall's out.
Yeah, Dragusin's 3, right? I'm just saying, like squad for next. That Dragusin would be 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I think Basuma's days are numbered. That'd be 4 off this list, right? We don't know if Pauline is going to be kept on off, so that takes you down to 14. This lot of 10. I'm not going to the ECL yet. We'll do that more when Frank does his list. So that takes you down to 14, so that would be 24 with this slot. You wouldn't have them all in Europe because we'd have too many foreign players. So you got here. I mean, Moani might go at the end of the season. I don't think we're going to cut his loan. I don't think so. Just for his experience, especially if we got through in the ECL. For all his poor form, he is on his day. He is an unstoppable striker. I want to see clips of him, but we haven't seen it at Spurs.
No.
That's got you 24 with Robinson. That's 25. But if you look, let's just go through and count the foreign players in this squad. You've got Vicar and Kinski's 2, haven't you?
Doggy.
Yogoshi's 3.
3. Romero 4. VDV's 5.
5.
Dragusin 6.
Poro 6.
7.
Danso, Dragusin, Poro.
Yeah, I'm not counting the ones that are 20 under 21, right?
So Bergvall, Betancourt.
But he's under 19, like with Gray. Mind you, they don't count as under 21s till they've done the 2 years. Nothing they've done. I'm not sure if they've done them now. So let's count who's actually foreign in him, and we'll worry about the ages for the under 21s afterwards. So you got like Vicaro Kinski's 2, Udogi 3, Souza 4, Romero 5, VDV 6, Dragerson 7, Porro 8.
Danso.
Danso's homegrown. No, he's homegrown. He was at Milton Keynes for years and
that's right. That's right. Porro.
Right. So Vicaro Kinski, Udogi's 3, Souza 4, Romero 5. None of Souza's underage. Let's include him. Right. Vicario, Kinski, Udogi, Romero 4, VDV 5, Dragerson 6, Porro 7,
9,
Rayo Burbo, Bendicott 8, Basuma 9.
Oh, Polina 10.
Polina 10. And then out of this slot here, you got
Javi's 11.
Javi's underage. I'm not sure of his age group. So Kulusevski.
Javi's 24.
11. Okay. Javi 12. Kudos 13. Tell's underage. Albert's Richarlison 15. Moani 16.
No, 15.
16. 15 or 16. But we're probably only allowed, if it's 17 foreign players, I think we're only allowed 14. This is the other issue when we're buying players in. If they're foreigners, they're going to want to be in the Champions League squad. So this is something we can go into more detail when we've actually the window's closed and we know we've got. Right, because I did put this up. 17 foreign, 8 homegrown players. Yeah, I'm going on 22 on last year because Gallagher's replaced Johnson. Okay. Burnley away, guys. Predicted lineup. We've got players back, more players to choose from because of what's the name? Actually, we can use that. Yeah. So I think we can say VDV's coming back into this team for Burnley away, Alan.
Yeah. Well, VDV was suspended, right? So he'll be back.
Yeah.
And hopefully I mean, we've heard rumors about him with Liverpool. I mean, I guess that it's only compounded by the fact that we're now linked with Andy Robertson and Curtis Jones. So
it's BS. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's absolutely BS. If you looked at the interviews with overlap with Neville, Gary Neville, he seems so happy to be at this football club. He's won a medal, isn't he? Right, a hero in the final for the shilling off the line. Right, happy as anything. You're getting linked with Liverpool and all that. And bear in mind, and then the press go, 87 million. They go 100 million. Hang about. You've just paid 125 million pound for a player and broke the British transfer record. You played 98 million for Van Dijk, was it? When they got him off of Southampton. 98 million. VDV's not leaving this club for anything under 125 million. And if he's classed as the best, fastest centre back in the world, you're looking more near 150.
Yeah.
And Liverpool spent money, and they still need to fix their defence out. His contract runs to 29. Plus, there'll be a year's option on that.
Yeah.
So
he's not going anywhere anytime soon.
So you're not thinking, now, if we get 2 years out, as much as I love VDV, if we get 2 years out and he refuses to sign, then sell him. Then you have to sell. You don't beg players to stay that don't want to longer be at your football club. By that time, we'd had another couple of seasons and we see how the team's done, and that'll affect the player's attitude. Obviously, if we're doing well and he believes in the system and the philosophy and whoever the manager is, it's different. But at the moment, he's not going anywhere. Don't let the media wind you up. It's not happening.
Yeah.
I mean, let me look on that. I've got millions of players' contracts, which I will bring up. Go on, Steve. You can talk while I'm doing this. That's all right.
I was going to ask you: is Polina back for this week? Is he back in training past the knock, or is he still out?
Well, you know, Conor Gallagher's going to play, so he's going to take the spot.
Right. Yeah, but the only reason why I ask is because I actually think this might be an opportunity to arrest Xavi because of his ankle, and you can play Conor Gallagher a little bit more forward. And if Polina's back, it actually makes it a little easier to play Archie Gray in this game.
Right, for those of you that get alarmed about players' lengths of contract and this come up, I've got all the
Okay.
players' contracts. If I'm wrong, I know people will come back at me, right? So for 2027, Richarlison, Alfie Devine, Dane Scarlett, Devine smashing it at Blackburn. Richarlison, I think he's going in the summer. He wants his World Cup place, so he'll probably get it on his current form. He'd definitely make the squad, I think. In 28, Madison, let's hope he comes back from his injury. See him on grass kicking a ball, so he looks good. But a test of a few challenges will, will be proof of the pudding, as they say. Porro, I think he loves it at the club. Vicario, I'm not sure if he loves it or not because he's took a lot of stick off the fans. So he may go. Solomon, well, he's on loan. He's going to go anyway. Yep. Phillips at Stokes, smashing it. Demolo Jai, he was at Doncaster. Now I think he's back. Or we give him another loan?
I think we gave him another loan.
Yeah, I think we did. Because actually they've wised up now. They've decided, like, when they do these loan deals for a year, that we can pull them back if you don't play them, you know. This is it, 29. Now, I see someone say 28 and someone say 30. So to 29, and I think he's got a year on that, unless that's with the year's extension. But anyway, if you look at that, we're now in the 26, right? Season's going to finish. Then you got like 26 to 27, 27 to 28, 28 to 29, and probably a year's extension. And this doesn't include it. I don't know if I did the extensions in these. So he's going nowhere for a couple of seasons, right? I mean, we can hold him to his contract. Players won't break it because they lose too much money. Odebert, Austin, Donnelly, Lijo Velez, I think we're going to end up selling him back to a Brazilian club. We've been trying to. Alfie Dorothy played today. Watched him play today. Will Lancashire. Cannibal Associate. Right. And why has it stopped here? Where's oh, hang on. These are more recent. Dominic Solanke's 2030, Gray, Destiny. So there's a good selection of players. Like we're not going to be a sinking ship where everyone's up for contracts and want to desert the ship. Then the 31s are like Kinski, Bergvale, Turl, which is good with Bergvale and Turl, Takai, Kudus, Abbott, Moore, Romero, Spence, Simmons, Souza. So you know, yeah. So I've got I'm not worried about VDV. I'm more concerned about who we're going to bring in and then like who we get rid of. Yeah. So we was at this, wasn't we? And then we said bloated squad we're not bothered with. So we moved down to
the Burnley
away, predicted lineup. So Vicari in goal. We can say it's definitely going to be VDV and Romero. Fullbacks now. Alan.
I'm just going to put out there that I want to see Kinski in goal because I feel like Vicario, he feels like you ever play with, on a team with someone who always just assumed they were going to be playing and you never got their best because they just knew they were going to be picked. Right, I feel like Vicario is that player right now where, he pretty much knows it's me. And he's gonna get, and it's just not his game has just not been very good. And I feel like picking Kinski, we could feature Kinski, and if we're gonna get rid of him, sometimes it's good to let these are show ponies almost like in a certain way. They got to be able to be out there and get a chance to play. And against Burnley, seems like a team like we could take the risk and have Kinski in goal.
Right.
No, I agree with King Hoddle. Likely he won't, but I'm putting it out there because if you don't ask, you don't get.
I thought Vicario's play over. I was going to say Vicario's play over the last month, actually last 2 months, has been mediocre at best, dreadful at worst, and you're absolutely right. Like his reward for continuously making mistakes is more starts, and that's the thing. It's like. What I don't like is it sends a bad message, right? You actually have a backup keeper for a reason. And he was brought in with the promise of first team minutes last year. But that being said, it's like, I understand that Frank doesn't rate him. But that being said, it's like, you don't know unless you actually play him. And I actually, I'm kind of with you. I've been wanting to see Kinski at least once, just once, just to see exactly what it looks
let
like.
me throw the curveball into this, right? If we was like in a more comfortable position in the league, I could see the sense of playing Kinski. With Frank's predicament at the moment, say hanging on to his job,
For sure.
Is he going to risk Kinski? And if it went wrong at Burnley, you can imagine the backlash. Why did you play Kinski? Right? So I think Vicario plays. I would like to have seen Kinski play in some of the other games, right? I would have, I think he's a talent. I mean, he let that ball slip through his arms in a Villarreal in a cup game last season, wasn't it? And but then his kicking's better than Vicario's. But Vicario's his agility is second to none. His agility. I mean, everyone says he's a good goal stopper, goalkeeper. Listen, that's a prerequisite of every goalkeeper, be a good goal stopper, a good
he
shot
gets to use his
stopper,
hands, yeah.
Right? But he's just so agile. He's just so agile, and that's his strength, isn't it? It's not his kicking. And I think he could. I mean, it wouldn't. We've got. Is it Fabian Otter, the goalkeeping coach that was at Bayern and Liverpool or something? You'd think he'd be working hard with Kinski and Vicario, wouldn't you, to improve their games?
Yeah. I see in the summertime. I see us getting another goalkeeper. But you said
it's not going.
Let's assume Vic in the middle, Vic in the back. I think he'll. Assuming we get. Well, no. Even if Andy Robertson did come in today, he wouldn't be available tomorrow.
No, Udogie's fit. He played against.
Yeah.
Udogie plays. So then I would see Destiny on the left. I'd put Jed Spence on the right. The rest Porro, and VDV and Romero in the middle.
I'm going to go Destiny Udogie on the left, Pedro Porro on the right, and it's the exact same. It's the exact same argument that Adrian just made for Vicario that I'm going to make for Pedro Porro. Thomas Frank badly needs a win in the Premier League. He absolutely, desperately needs 3 points tomorrow, and I would probably assume that he's going to try to put out his best lineup tomorrow. At least a best 11 that he has at his disposal. So I think it's going to.
And it was Porro's best game in a long while against Bolton.
Yeah. Yeah, he was actually making the crosses that looked good. Yeah. Most of his crosses lately, we depend on them, and they've been terrible.
Udogie's a starter with those two in the centre, and I think Porro, I think Porro start, and Spence will get a rest, but he'll be on the bench if needed. So, midfield guys, start with you this time, Steve. Gallagher's got to be back, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. Now, I guess the question is what's the issue with Polina? Is Polina going to be back tomorrow? Because if he's back, then it's going to be Polina, Gray, Gallagher. And if he's not back, then I'm going to go Basuma, Gray, Gallagher, with Gallagher playing higher up, because I actually think it would be wise to actually rest Xavi Simons against Burnley just because of the ankle, and we're going to need him for Eintracht Frankfurt more than Burnley. And I think Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, we don't want him doing his ligaments, do we?
Right, that's exactly right. And I just think this is an opportunity for Conor Gallagher to play a little bit higher up. And the last time we actually saw Basuma play, I think it was just a couple games ago when he first came back. He actually wasn't exactly a scrub. And so from that standpoint, if you just need an out and out six, he could play it. Archie Gray can kind of facilitate that deep lying midfielder box to box role, and then Conor Gallagher can play higher up the pitch. But if Polina is back, then it's Polina instead of Basuma. But I would probably assume that Polina is going to be out. So Basuma, Gray, Gallagher.
Yeah. You either play Gallagher in a more forward box to box 8, or I don't know how you can bring Odebert in as a 10, because I think we're short up front. But
Correct.
what's your midfield three, Alan?
Gallagher, I would put Paulinho in,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I would rest Xavi. I think he needs a little bit of a rest, and I'd probably put in Sar
If he's available, yeah.
if he's
Yeah.
available.
Yeah, he's back.
All right. Well, then I changed. Then
He's
it's going to
available.
be Basuma, Gallagher, Sar as Sar on the 10. Sorry.
Mm.
Yeah. Sorry. I forgot about Sar.
It's a good engine in that midfield.
Yeah.
Yeah. With Sar back and Basuma back. I mean, Basuma did all right when he come on. I hate to say it because I want him gone.
Yeah.
But
He played well.
yeah.
What about
Gallagher's
your
definitely
midfield?
starts.
What's your midfield three?
Well, Gallagher's definitely in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Paulina's ready. And
I would
like Gray progresses the ball, so I'm playing Gray. Progresses it better than Bentancur, in my opinion. So I'm playing Gallagher and Gray because Gray can sit deep as well. They can both do the 8 box to box, actually, both of them. And then if you put Sar in there, man, what an engine that is. I still don't trust Basuma. Just don't trust him. He gives the ball away in dodgy positions, puts square balls across midfield when he's a little bit left or right, and your opponents pick it up. So, yeah, I'm gonna put Sar in there as well.
Mm.
Then they can all battle for the 10 spot in there because, Sar, Gallagher, and Gray with me. That is one hell of an engine. Up front, I think it virtually sort of fits itself if we've gone with that in midfield.
Gray might need a rest though. He hasn't really had much of a rest.
No, he's played a lot of games, but he's got the legs on him. Like he did get, he played 7 on the spin, or 8 was it, or come on and stuff, or whatever. And then he may need a rest. In which case, if that was the case, you'd probably find Basuma gets in there.
Mm. You think so?
I'm not sure if Paulina's fit. I think Frank said he's ready. Yeah, but that's one thing, and another thing is playing him.
Maybe.
So I'd probably pick Paulina, and we're all in the mud. But never mind, right? Because it's just fun anyway. So I'm going, like I say, Sar, Gray, and Gallagher in midfield.
Yeah.
Match that Burnley if you can, right? Right. So front three, Alan, go on.
Front three. I think he will probably start Solanke.
Yep.
I think the only way for Solanke to get into match fitness is to play his way into match fitness, so he's going to have to start. I'd like to see Tell on the wing. I think Tell
Not
needs
Spence, no.
Well, I have Spence on the right side, but
okay.
and then I guess Odegaard. Look, Odegaard deserves he scored, right? He deserves an opportunity to continue that. So I guess it would be Odegaard, Solanke, and Tell.
Yeah, Steve. I mean, Tell played on the right, but right sort of central striker at Leeds away.
Mm-hmm.
So
right. I think it's going to be Solanke through the middle. Yeah, I think since he's been back, it's been obvious he's like the best striker we've had on the roster. He does things that even Richarlison couldn't do, and it just makes our attack just a little bit more dynamic. But Tell is on the left and Odegaard is on the right.
Yeah, I'm with those three as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Spence is a good option to come on at fullback or on the wing, either wing really. So, yeah,
he could do what Bale did.
Confident going in this game, Alan. What's your score?
I think this is going to be a 3-1 win.
Okay.
We're not known to. I mean, we beat Dortmund. Yeah. We kept a clean sheet, but I every time I think we're going to keep a clean sheet, we let one through. So we do depend a lot on our defense. And I think if I had a higher expectation of Vicario, but I don't. So I think 3-1. But I do think we're going to win.
Who's scoring for them? Marcus Edwards?
You know what? I'm gonna say an accidental own goal.
Okay. They're the only two players I can remember of Burnley, actually, Marcus Edwards and Kyle Walker, actually. But
Kyle Walker, yes.
Yeah,
Steve,
Kyle Walker.
What's your score?
Now, understand that there is no correlation between our Champions League form and our Premier League. We've actually had very, very nice Champions League performances, only to follow it up with bad losses on the weekend. And the fact that we can't seem to get points against teams that we ought to be getting points against. Last week was a perfect example. I actually picked West Ham to beat us last week 2-1, and it's because for whatever reason we can't necessarily seem to put our best foot forward, whether it's at home and lately on the road as well too, against teams that have no business beating us. You know, you talk about Bournemouth; they hadn't won in 11, and Dr. Tottenham came and cured their ills. West Ham hadn't won in quite some time, and Dr. Tottenham again came and cured their ills. It was an opportunity for us to get a massive 3 points, and we couldn't figure out how to do it. And while I will concede that was a nice first half, we still didn't necessarily put together a full 90 against Dortmund. Did we get the win? Sure. But one of the things we have not done is been able to take that win and carry it over to the weekend. And until I actually see it, and until I actually see this team actually start off on the front foot against an opponent that we actually should beat and then batter them, I'm sorry. I just can't do it. As much as I want to pick Spurs to beat Burnley, a part of me just knew that we were going to figure out a way to screw this up against West Ham, and I feel the exact same way. And I hope I'm wrong, but I'm going 2-1 Burnley.
Really?
2-1 Burnley. Okay. I'm going 3-0 Spurs.
Yeah.
I'm going to go slanky Tone Odegaard, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
By the way, I hope you're right. I think you said we were going to. I think last week you said we were going to score 5 against West Ham.
No, I did. That's why I've come down a couple. Yeah. So now this is an important banner because we don't know, but this is what everyone's umming and ahhing about at the moment. Frank's 10-year rest on this game. Will Frank be given longer to the summer guys or not? What do you think? So we lose tomorrow.
Say we lose tomorrow, I think he's out.
Yeah.
He's not Spurs DNA.
I think he would have been out had he lost the Dortmund game, because I think they were willing to give him the Dortmund game. But I think at this point, anything short of a run, let's say we go on a run of like 5-6 games where we start winning, then maybe a loss, they don't consider it. But I think what are they called? P45s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a gun. It's not a gun. It's the thing you get, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's going to get if he loses to Burnley, because Burnley is a team we should be beating comfortably.
Let's do all 3 options then. So if he loses tomorrow, Steve, do you think he's gone?
Not necessarily. I think our board is weak. And I think our board is scared because I don't think they're looking out for the best interests of Tottenham Football Club. I think they're looking out for the best interests of their job. And I think they don't know if sacking Frank is a good thing, because you have a guy like Vinny literally saying that this guy is the guy. Like, Vinny is the one that's leading the charge, and yet there's people who are like,
well, he's the CEO. He's the one who makes the decision. The board can put pressure on him, but if you undermine him, he goes anyway, right? So he makes the decision. So
what I will say is that if we lose, I still think he's going to be around for Frankfurt. And if he loses that, I think he's going to be around for Man City. What I do think is that after that run in February, where it's like Man City, Newcastle, Arsenal, and some of the big heavies, I would probably assume at the end of that, you will probably see Thomas Frank get the sack, because I mean the results are going to have to matter at some point. And we think,
so if he wins, if he
I
wins
still
tomorrow,
think if he wins tomorrow, then I still think he's going to be here until at least February, till the end of February. Because if he wins tomorrow and then he beats Frankfurt, then you have that gauntlet in February that it's ultimately going to show his true colors. And we think that we know what his true colors are, but we're really going to see it against City, and we're going to see it against Arsenal and Newcastle again. And I think at that point, there's not going to be anything left for Thomas Frank to be able to point to at that stage. And I think by that time, we're either going to be out of the Champions League, and all we have left is as the Premier League. And at that point, understanding that the only thing left we have to play for is kicking up the table, that's where Justin Heitinga is going to take over.
Well, we're in the Champions League in February because we've already qualified for the playoffs. It's just a question of where we finish top 8. So, Alan, if we draw or win, does that secure Frank's tenure till the summer?
I think not. I think Burnley is a team. They're second from the bottom in the league. They need to be a team that we dispatch. If we can't depend, if we can't depend on that, I think it's enough. It's enough. And I think for the most part, I think the fans, they will have forgotten the Dortmund win, because they'll say, well, that's Champions League. This is Premier League. We're already 14th. We could be, if Burnley get the win, I don't know that we can really drop too much further than 14th unless
Bournemouth wins.
Unless Bournemouth does well.
And West Ham picks up points. But, you're absolutely right, though. And what I will say is that it's going to be my biggest fear about tomorrow is the fact it was the same thing against West Ham. This is a team that actually has nothing to lose at this stage. And when you're in a position like that, where you're essentially desperate for 3 points, when you look at the last couple of weeks, they were able to get results. They were able to take a point from Liverpool, and I believe City as well, too. And so from that standpoint, you think that they're going to be playing with a lot of confidence tomorrow. But when you're going up against a team that has nothing to lose, they're willing to try things and be a lot braver than they normally would if they were like in a position of safety. And so that's what really scares me, because a lot of people thought that Nuno was just going to sit back in a low block and try to counter, but they were actually pressing good at times. And that's something that they usually just don't do. And I would probably assume that because Tottenham has a playbook against them, has a blueprint to beat them, you would probably think that Scott Parker is probably going to try to follow that blueprint at times and try to make things as tough as possible. And that's what has me scared about tomorrow. And if Thomas Frank doesn't adjust, that's all. I think that's all we have to see, especially against a team like Burnley, who is 100% going down next year, or going down this year.
Yeah, to me, what always sticks in my mind is the board appointed him, like with Vinay and that. And so I don't see them getting rid of him, not with all the managers that will be available after the World Cup in the summer.
Well, they brought in.
If you bring a new guy in, what's he going to do? Yeah. So they've brought him in. If you get rid of him now, all the guns point at the board. And Vinay, they point at Vinay, and they point at Charlie and Viv and Nick Boucher. And we heard rumours, right? Now, this is another thing that gets me. Rumours was that Nick Boucher wanted him out. Hang about. If these people have involvement, they're not going to go and tell anyone like their decision and whatever. You're going to come in that boardroom. You're not going to tell other members of staff. You're not going to tell no one. So if someone says to me, Nick Boucher says he wants out, he's not going to make that public. The board, everything that goes in the boardroom should stay in the boardroom. I mean, if you've got close friends and whisper gets out, and I know that it's you, Alan, or you, Steve, I'm not confiding you again because I know that you're going to blab, right? So I think he's safe. Also, I mean, there's been a lot of fear about these fixtures coming up, but 3 of them are at home. Man City are at home, Newcastle at home, Arsenal at home. All right. So, and if you win Burnley and Frankfurt, suddenly you've got a bit of momentum, you're feeling confident.
Mhm.
Man
There's
City,
no-
we
there's
seem
no-
to have their number.
There's no way that we're
Man United,
we're-
Man United away. I mean, they haven't beaten us for 8 games in all competitions. You know, Newcastle at home. I think Newcastle at home and Arsenal at home are more of a threat than the 2 Manchester clubs. I'll probably prove totally wrong, right?
I
but-
think we lose all of this.
I think I'd like to say I think we'll beat Burnley. I think we'll beat Frankfurt. They've sacked their manager. Remember, they haven't got Etiketi and they haven't got Marmoush no more. They're both gone. Like one's at Liverpool, one's at Man City.
Right.
So, and if Phil King was in, obviously he lives in Frankfurt, so like he'd give us the update on what's happening there with the manager and the squad and whether there's like turmoil there. I should imagine a manager goes, players do start thinking about their position. Players that haven't been played start building their hopes up. The new manager's got to like them. But yeah, so that's that. I'll just do the banners, what we got here. Just do the chat. We've got Elizabeth, but we got Gallagher and SARS back. True. Green. Yeah, SAR got taken ill on that thing in that on an African con, but they won, didn't they? They beat Morocco. So
I think he's okay now. He was sick, but I think back he's okay now.
Yeah, you got to take those malaria pills when you go to Africa, my man. You know, you can't be safe, especially if you're living in that cozy UK and all of a sudden you
must have malaria as well. Yeah, Luke, I think we're all saying this is what it's going to be. And Moani and Scarlett will be back up on the bench for the number 9 position. Should Solanke get injured?
Oh, let's not. Hopefully not. Although, I mean, I would love to see. I got to look. How many games in a row?
I'm in the mud if we lose 3-0. Right, that about wraps it up. I want to, for the 70 of you that are watching us on various platforms, please nip over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel and hit the like, give the video a thumbs up, and you can hit the subscribe button when you go over to the channel and just subscribe. It helps the algorithm. Give the video a thumbs up. It helps enormously. I've got these guys. Let's go up to the comments section. Where are we? Scroll up. If my mouse would not play up, it would help. Get over to Steve at Stateside Footy as well.
Yes.
And get over to Alan at Team Cotton Go. Big up to all of you that watch the videos on playback. You get these links, get over there and subscribe to the channel and subscribe to Spurs Dives TTID. Definitely. You can find us on Facebook as well. We've got quite a big group there, but there seem to be people that only like Facebook and not other platforms. I get why certain people don't use social media. It can be a hassle. We can find us on XCOM. You can message us on XCOM, chat to us on XCOM. And we've got a WhatsApp group, which we use to get guests on the show. So if any of you want to become a guest, you're more than welcome. But first, we'd need your phone number to add you to the WhatsApp group. And the most secure way of doing that is through a Facebook messaging or XCOM messaging. Yeah. So if you want to come on, you're more than welcome. Yeah. And like I say, big up to all of you in the chat for your comments and questions. Big up to all of you on various platforms. And we thank you for your continued support. Ian will be doing the next show Sunday at 8 o'clock. Shows go out every Sunday, usually a Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on European football games, but mostly on a Tuesday at 9. And like Friday at 10, because we're trying to cater for a Canadian and American audience as well. So with that, I want to thank you all again. Any last questions, guys, that you've got or anything you want to say? Obviously not. Definitely silence. Obviously not. So with that, I want to thank the regular guests there. And go on.
I do have a question for both of you guys. So the first question is, number one, do you think Thomas Frank survives after the first season? Because I have a feeling he's probably going to stay for the rest of the year. But the question is if it's no, is Maurizio Pochettino our head coach come 2026, 2027?
I don't
He would
think
unite the
he'll
fan
survive.
base, wouldn't he? I mean,
Yeah. I
yeah,
think
I
that
don't
would
think
be
Frank's
it's a
gonna
big
do that.
win, I think, for the it's quite the statement if Pochettino comes back, because we all know that he and Daniel Levy did not get along.
Right.
They were
Mm.
and the bitterness that kind of bled into everything with the 2 transfer windows with no, 500. How many days was it, Adrian? Like 500 and something days without a transfer.
518 without a
Yeah.
transfer. Yeah.
Something crazy like that. It would be, and for him to come back, I mean, that says something about the ownership. Willing to, maybe they offer a mea culpa, and Pochettino kind of says, okay, let's try to make this work a second time round. How's the song go?
Well, the
Love is sweeter
Bold
the
have
second
got.
time
They're in a
around.
good position, really. Yeah, I mean, the Bold are in a. I don't think Frank will be staying at this football club unless someone will have a fantastic end to the season and he shows an attacking intent and wins the fan base over. It's really got a lot to do after 30 odd games, after 32 games, though. And I think the Bold are in a very good position because they know that, Pochettino will bare feet across red hot coals to get this manager's job again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have to necessarily go for him. If you got, a Xavi come in, whatever, Nagelsmann,
Which one, Alonso or Hernandez?
And then are we talking them top managers? If you're talking them, don't forget Poch wasn't back, but we still finished second, third, and fourth with them.
Yep.
And sixth and seventh, then it was fourth and eighth, as my memory serves me well.
Oh, he had such talent in that.
Fourth under con. If they're going to have a good selection, knowing that worst case scenario or best case scenario, all depends on what you think of Poch, they can get Poch anyway. Secondly, you'll be paying the money out to Frank after the accounts are done for this year, so we can spend our money now in a transfer window. Whatever. And he had about 10 staff with him as well. So it depends if you want to get rid of all of them as well. We got the money to do it, but we'd rather spend it on a player, wouldn't we? All that money would buy us a player, basically. Right?
It's just he's such a well-compensated manager. They
always are, though.
But Frank is the third highest in the league. They're all well compensated, but they don't always have to be at the top end of the league. He's right there with Pep and what's his name, Arteta. I mean,
unless we don't know if there's other clauses in there. Obviously, there'll be clauses for bonuses for winning competitions. There might be even clauses for, like, if you don't get Europe, or if this doesn't happen, then we can sever your contract with like half the wages or some shit like that. I mean, I don't know.
Imagine Pochettino with this team at full strength. You know what I mean? Where you have Madison, Xavi, Gallagher, Kulusevski, Polina, Gray, Sarr. Like our midfield is going to be absolutely huge. But that being said, it's like you look at the back four. I'm sure there would be additions, whatever the case may be. But it's like I look at this team under the guidance of a guy like Mauricio Pochettino, and it's like our problem scoring goals.
And Gallagher was his captain at Chelsea as well, Steve.
And you look at
that's a lure, isn't it?
Our deficiency when it comes to scoring goals, and you look at the way that Pochettino plays, all of a sudden that deficiency becomes a positive, right? So there's just like I look at this team, and it's like that's why I never believed that. The players and the quality of the players were a problem. Yeah, depth might be an issue because of injuries, but like it's when you look at these teams with a legit coach that knows how to play them correctly, and all of a sudden this team is probably a top 10 team minimum, probably barking into the Champions League. Like it's like the right coach has the ability to change the fortunes of this type of team.
And it'd be great for the youth squad too. Pochettino was really good with the youth.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I mean, he gave Winks and Skip a go, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, imagine him with
Mikey Moore.
Imagine him with Mikey Moore.
Well, he did say Marcus Edwards was going to be the next Messi.
Well,
And Mourinho did rave about doing Scarlet.
there you go.
Well, we never gave him
Right,
an
guys, we're going to
opportunity.
wrap it up here. No, well, this is it. It's very hard. I mean, like, it's all right, Byfield coming into the squad while we're on this. It's all right saying, like, bring the youngsters in. It's no good if they're going to sit on the bench for like 90% of the season. That's no good. They're not developing.
Yep.
It's a very hard balance to strike, though. And if you play a youngster, he has a poor game or is at fault, he gives a goal away, everyone's going to be on a manager's case. This is why they're more conservative management. I mean, Mourinho, they said, Mourinho plays youngsters. No, he doesn't. He plays them when he's forced to. Tommy only got in that Man United side when they had loads of injuries, right? And it worked.
Right.
You know, he's doing well now in Italy, right? I mean, when I say, he plays youngsters, really? Well, name the managers that play youngsters. Name them. You probably get them in the bottom half or bottom third of the league because they have to. They've got no choice.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't. You've got to really stand out. I mean, you take City, they play youngsters. Really? It took Foden about 2 or 3 seasons to establish himself. They let Jadon Sancho go. They let others go. You know, they left other players go. I think McAtee's still there. I think, yeah. Anyway, that's another subject. Right. I'm going to end the stream. I want to thank my guests. They're so much better than last week's guests.
And they'll be better next
week. See you two next Friday.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you two next week, next Friday. And I'm going to play you out of this. And once again, thanks to you all for your support. And please subscribe to Spurs Diehards.
We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs Diehards, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs Diehards, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, heart and soul. Lily white and navy blue.